Hey everybody, this is James Zapp from the Dapper Den Barbershop in Ridgefield, Connecticut. And today we're going to be going over how to sharpen a blade on a clipper. So thank you so much for tuning into the channel. If you are new to the channel, if you go ahead and hit that subscribe, that like, that share, notification, all that good stuff, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. So you're probably wondering why we would need to sharpen a blade on a clipper. Sometimes blades can be very expensive on clippers and you can get away by just sharpening them if you need to. So today we have a Babyliss Stay Gold version. This is the Sophie Pock edition of the clipper. So today we're going to be sharpening this bad boy up, and you can do this with any clipper out there. I just had this one. I use it because it does have a taper blade on it. Some of the other ones only have fade blades, but I do use the taper blade for some stuff, and I wanted to sharpen this up without having to buy a new blade. So you will need a couple things before we get started. The first thing you'll need, obviously, is your clipper. So have your clipper. Another thing you need is a screwdriver. I just have a Husky screwdriver here with a Phillips head on it. Some clippers do come with a screwdriver, so you can use that one if you need to. I just prefer a bigger one because I can get more torque on it. You will also need a pair of gloves. Not necessary, but I don't like it when the oil of my hands gets on the blade, and we'll talk about that later. So I do recommend a pair of gloves. You will need a couple towels. I just have a couple towels I have lying around my house here, so I'm using these. Lastly, what you're going to be needing, this over here, is a whetstone. So a whetstone is what you use to sharpen knives, blades, anything like that. Mine has been sitting in water for about 15 minutes or so now. Been flipping it over every 5 to make sure this whole thing, my bowl, isn't big enough, obviously. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is get your whetstone. You're gonna wanna wet it and soak it for about 10 to 15 minutes in water. So this is good. This has been sitting there for a while. And keep the bowl of water with you as well. All right, so we laid out our towel. And now the first thing we're gonna do is put on our gloves. So just get any gloves. These are just regular white ones I got at the store. Okay, gloves are on. So next thing you wanna do is you wanna take your clipper and your screwdriver. And you're gonna wanna undo these 2 screws right here. So once the screws are off, there's gonna be 2 blades that you're gonna be taking out. There's the moving blade, which has a plastic piece on it, and then the stationary blade right here. So what you need to do now is you need to take this plastic piece off very carefully. These can break because they are plastic. So what I recommend doing is just very lightly holding it and just pushing through with the screwdriver very, very lightly. And don't try to force it because you might wind up breaking it. And then you just have to wind up buying a new blade anyway. Take this plastic piece, put it on the side. You can also take your clipper at the same time and put that on the side. Also take your screws. Don't lose these. Very, very important. So now that we've got our 2 blades, you want to brush them down just a little bit. I have a towel that I'm just going to clean them off with and make sure that they're okay. Good. Okay, so now we have our blades done. Put our screwdriver to the side. And now we need to grab our whetstone and our water as well. So this whetstone I got here is just something you can get off of Amazon. This is Norton whetstone. It has 2 different grits on it. It has a 4,000 grit and an 8,000 grit. And you're gonna have to do both sides with it. So I'm gonna start with the 4,000 grit, and then we're gonna move up to the higher grit. We are going to start with either or on the blades. I like to start with the taper, the actual stationary blade. And you wanna take some water and you wanna get this nice and wet. So you're gonna take the blade and you're gonna put it face down this way. And you're gonna give it a very little amount of pressure up here. And you're gonna slide it back and forth. Now that's called a lap. So that's 1, 2, lap. 1, 2, 2 laps. And you wanna do it about 20 to 30 times. Some people will say something different. When I sharpen straight razors, that's how I'll do it. And you're not putting a lot of pressure, you're just letting the whetstone do its work. And that's good. So now we're done with that. A little more water on this. You can't have enough water on a whetstone. Just a little bit of pressure going back and forth. Now we can see that's getting a lot sharper now. So now that we've done that on both of them, you can flip your whetstone over. Now because this side has been sitting on a towel, some of the moisture might have gotten out of it. So I recommend putting a little bit more water on this, and this we're moving now towards is the 8000 grit side. Same thing. The higher up you go in grit, the more it's going to polish the blade and sharpen the blade. But you got to start off at a low grit to get a majority of it off. And again, the same thing with the moving blade. Once that is all done, you put your whetstone back in the water. Keep the gloves on. You want to dry your blade out the best you can to get all that water off of it. You want to put the white part back in now, and it just pops in very, very easily. You're going to take your blade, put it here, and you can adjust it how you see fit. If you want it zero gapped, if you don't want it zero gapped. So you want to hold your thumb down there. And you don't want to tighten it all the way. Now when this is set up, you want this blade to be as close as possible to that top blade. This is where I see a lot of people having trouble with. That's where you don't want to tighten it all the way. And you're just kind of eyeing out where that needs to be. And then turn each one slowly, maybe an eighth of a turn, just to get enough so it doesn't move the blade completely. Then always go back and check. Now, what I followed up with, which I just did, is a little bit of oil you'll put right here, a dab here, and a dab here. What you'll do now is when the oil's on, like it is, you'll let it run, let the oil move there. I'll hold it this way. Open it up, let the oil get inside there. Close it up, let the oil get in. Tilt it side to side. And there you have it. Your blade's ready to go. So thank you so much for watching from the Dapper Den. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have sharpened your blades or you tried this out, let me know what you think about it down in the comments. Again, if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, share, notifications, all that stuff. Greatly appreciate you. Also check out our website at www.dapperdenbarbershop.com. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.